On the job, it's really privileged to have Mr. Manish Vora here with us today. He's a Vice President and CFO of Johnson & Johnson South Asia Limited. So whenever you think of a story which has a lot of grit, a lot of hard work, here we have a story right in front of us who's scaled up the ladder through a lot of effort put in by him. So we're really privileged to have you over here.
Thank you, Rashi. So many people ask me as to what is the job profile of a CFO, and I would probably answer that in one line, and I would feel that if managing director is pilot for the organization, a CFO is a co-pilot for the organization, right? And I think that would summarize the role of a CFO. The modern age CFO is no longer looking at financials and accounts and controls and treasury. These are like given, right? If you want to become a CFO, you need to ensure that you do your bread and butter role very, very well. That would entail everything, right? What is more important in nowadays is how do you help your managing director sail through dynamic and uncertain times through the strategic interventions and be his sounding board. Ensure that if we are going slightly bit more pessimistic or optimistic, bring that realism into the picture, from financial and statutory to treasury to M&A to mergers to acquisitions, through corporate finance, business finance are the base on which a CFO builds his business partnering skills. Students ask as to how do you reach, what are the qualifications, whether it should be a chartered accountant or whether it should be a CFA or whether it should be an MBA. In my view, any qualification would only help you enter the world of corporate, and initial years, say first 8 to 10 years would be the hard skills, and the technical skills which are going to help you. Post that, I think it is the soft skills which will matter on the foundation of the technical skills that you have already built upon. So I would not say that whether a chartered accountant or an MBA can reach to the top. Anyone can reach to the top. M&A, corporate finance, treasury are kind of most sought out jobs within corporate, and these are relevant experiences and these are specialized experiences. But to say that you need to definitely have those experiences for you to join a corporate in finance department, I don't think so. I think you can have this experience in your corporate journey, or you can have that experience in a consulting firm and then join in a specialized department within finance if you want to specialize in an M&A or corporate finance kind of world. It's not been a planned journey for me. It's been something which is come as a default, right? I was in a very different industry, in a family business which is into diamonds industry, and it is only after TY BCom that finally I found out as to where my passion lies. And one of my very, very good friend was in E&Y doing chartered accountancy, and he told that in your family business you can always go back. Why don't you start your articleship and complete your chartered accountancy and go back to the business? And it was like a spur of a moment decision. I said, okay, let's do that way. And that's where the career journey into this great field of finance and business started for me. That's where actually my career journey started. So as I shared, I went to E&Y for my articleship. It was great for me to be with them. One of the best firms for you to get your grooming on in terms of your basics. So I started my journey in audit department, was privileged to do various audits within Ernst & Young. After 1.5 years, when we do our, during that time it was Inter-CA, is where I stood, 24th All India. During those times, it was not routine for people to get shift from one department to another department within an organization. But because of the rank, I got an opportunity to shift, and the co-authors of Master Guide, Mr. Rajesh Kadakia, Mr. Rajesh Dume, and that's where my upbringing into direct tax and indirect tax begin. Once you get a rank in CA final, you start getting this offer letters and interview calls from various organizations, and I was fortunate to have my first career stint with Colgate Palmolive. In Colgate Palmolive during those days, they used to appoint management trainees, and they used to have IIMs and rank holder chartered accountants as part of this pool. As a chartered accountant, I would have thought that I would go into the finance department, have my stint there, and then build on. But to my great surprise, when I joined on day one, they told me that I'm going to start my stint with sales and marketing. So for first 6 months of my career as a fresh chartered accountant, I started my stint in sales, and I was being given Parla Santa Cruz Khar area as a district manager, sitting in a distributor's office day in day out, and taking a Colgate Palmolive bag, roaming around from one retail shop to another retail shop, and the kind of business grooming that it gave me and the pulse of the business, I think I owe a lot to this particular stint that I had. And I found it pretty interesting, the kind of profile. They were trying to set up a business finance team. Probably it would have been the first in the industry during those times, and I was the first recruit in the business finance team if I decided to join. And the job profile was pretty interesting, and obviously they gave me a good rise in terms of salary. So I decided to join Johnson & Johnson in medical sector in 2002, because the rest 4.5 years that I spent with J&J, the kind of experience that I had, whether it be in the business finance for initial years, then in credit department where I headed the credit department for Johnson & Johnson Medical, and then implementing Sarbanes-Oxley for Johnson & Johnson. That was a great experience, and actually that experience got me to US, where I was working on an H1 visa with biggest insurance company, Cigna Insurance, helping them implement Sarbanes-Oxley. I was working in the corporate audit department. Working in a different country for the first time was a very different experience. US is a very different culture, very open, very transparent, but you need to really adapt to the need and the skills which are required for you to build a career in a US organization and onshore. Came an offer from Dow Chemical, who wanted a finance manager, and my profile suited very, very well. So then I joined Dow Chemical as a finance manager, different organization, very centralized organization. In a year I was promoted as a country finance controller. When I joined Dow, it was around 225 million US. When I left them after 5.5 years, it was around 900 million. So great experience in terms of the business growth. At the same time, I was part of the team implementing 3 global centers in India: R&D Center, Business Process Service Center, and Engineering Center. Was part of team implementing a joint venture with Gujarat government. Dow had acquired Romanhas globally, and we were planning to integrate Romanhas India with Dow India. And my managing director thought that from finance side I could be one of those who could help integrate both these organizations. So that experience of merging 2 entities, not only from a finance side, but from business side, but from HR side, but from compensation side, but from people side, those emotions that people run through, it's an amazing experience. And it was probably one of those experiences which actually help you to nurture your soft skills, right? And that was something which was I always owe that particular bit to Dow. Joined back South Asia along with my current profile of continuing as a CFO for farm, supply chain lead for farm, and a business lead for South Asia market for farm sector. That gave me a very different skill sets, a very different thought process, a very different mindset to kind of approach, because now it was more of external world, government, tax department, revenue ministry, finance ministry, department through SHM and FICCI, and that requires a very different skill set, a very different mindset. As you kind of grow old in an organization, at a point in time you feel that you need to start learning new skills, because at the pace at which the organization and the industry is growing, especially in the world of artificial intelligence and robotics, you feel that somehow whatever you have learned, your skill sets are going to be stagnant if you don't unlearn and learn again. And that's where I thought of doing my executive MBA. Got an opportunity of getting into Harvard Business School in Boston. Day schedule, if you kind of look at, would depend upon which part of the rest of the year. It is mainly business partnering and helping business through various parts strategically and financially through M&As and other deals which could otherwise happen. The world is changing. There are certain things which are always going to remain as basics for any finance professions to learn. For somebody who wants to come up the curve, in today's world, it is always easy to tell that, I want to straight go into the front side of the finance without learning the back side of the finance and the back office side of the finance. I am still a believer that irrespective of which stage or which time of career that you join in, you should always have the back office finance experience first before you actually go in the front side. Because when you are on the front side, on the business finance side, you will need those expertise for you to take the right decisions. And that's where probably your experience into accounts payable and receivable and hardcore closing and preparing the statutory financials and cost audit and internal audit is always going to help you when you take the business decisions, right? In the world which is moving towards robotics and artificial intelligence, it is definitely going to possible that in next 10 years, 70 to 80% of the normal work that a finance person currently does is going to all vanish, and it is all going to be done through robots and artificial intelligence. Having said that, you will still need people who are going to supervise that particular piece, and it is of utmost importance for people to go through that experience on their own so that they will be able to supervise it better in the future. You are always a thought about guy, or a person, because finance is a central nervous system of any organization, whether it be a sales or a marketing or a supply chain. Finance holds all of them together, and that kind of importance and that kind of learning, I think, is a big plus. If you want to learn about business, finance is a great place. If you want to learn about supply chain, finance is again a great place. If you want to be associated with the external world, finance is again a great place. So these are all the positives about finance. So ultimately, I think it is about your passion, in whichever field you are, whether you are in a sales field or a marketing field or a finance field. Every job will have some bit of positives and one or two areas where obviously they would feel that the things could have been different. Having said that, if you have passion for your job, I think it's all fun. Brilliant. I think that always helps bring in that perspective. But my request and suggestion to all millennials would be just be patient. There is absolutely no second way of earning experience. You have to earn that experience. Sometimes you may feel that the experience that probably we required over a 15 to 17 years or a 20 years, you may require it in 10 years because of the technology and the social media and various other ways of earning that experience. But those bare minimum experience would actually help you mature as a person, as a professional, and get you to a better decision making.